Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Science Facts. Tonight, we'll journey into one of Earth's most extraordinary wonders, the Grand Canyon. A place where time, water, and stone come together to tell the story of our planet's deep past. To gaze across its vast expanse is to witness the power of nature and the slow, patient artistry that shapes the Earth. But our journey won't stop here. From Arizona's desert cliffs, we'll travel to other magnificent canyons across the world, those hidden in rainforests, carved beneath Himalayan peaks, and even etched into the ocean floor. And beyond our planet, we'll explore the colossal canyons of distant worlds, where alien forces sculpt landscapes as breathtaking as any on Earth. If you enjoy these calm explorations, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a quiet thought in the comments below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. For now, let your body relax, your breathing slow, and your thoughts drift as we descend into the story of the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is like a natural time machine, revealing nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history. Its walls display a cross-section of our planet's past, written in bands of color that stretch from rim to river. To stand at the edge is to see not just distance, but time itself, oceans that once spread across the land, deserts that turned to stone, and rivers that flowed long before humans ever appeared. Each layer is a page in Earth's storybook, preserving the memories of vanished worlds. At the very bottom lie the Vishnu basement rocks, gleaming with crystals of mica and garnet. These ancient stones formed deep underground, crushed and heated by immense tectonic forces almost 2 billion years ago. Within them lie traces of long-lost mountain ranges and fragments of early continents, matter that has endured countless transformations yet still remains. Few places on Earth expose such ancient rock to the open air, and the Grand Canyon stands as one of the clearest windows into the planet's beginnings. Flowing through its depths is the Colorado River, a patient sculptor that has been carving this immense chasm for millions of years. Scientists believe the river began cutting through the uplifted Colorado Plateau around 5 to 6 million years ago, though some evidence suggests it may have started even earlier. Once water found a pathway through stone, gravity and time did the rest, deepening the gorge, widening its walls, and shaping every curve and cliff we see today. The irony is that while the rocks themselves are nearly 2 billion years old, the canyon carved through them is relatively young. In geological terms, it is a fresh wound on an ancient body, still being shaped by the same forces that created it. Erosion became the great sculptor of the Grand Canyon. Rain and melting snow trickled into cracks, freezing and expanding to pry the rocks apart. Streams cut new paths, while rockfalls thundered down the cliffs, and even the wind, carrying tiny grains of sand, helped wear the surface smooth. Over millions of years, these patient forces carved a labyrinth of ridges, cliffs, and valleys, creating one of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth. Deep within the canyon, the Vishnu schist sparkles in the dim light, revealing tiny crystals that formed under unimaginable heat and pressure. These rocks are not just old, they are storytellers from a time when life was microscopic and the continents were still forming. The canyon's walls also hold fossils, remnants of ancient seas, coral reefs, and desert dunes. They tell us that this land was once underwater, then dry, then flooded again. Each fossil, each ripple preserved in stone, is a whisper from a world that once was. In the western reaches, dark basalt fields reveal that volcanic eruptions once poured lava into the canyon, sometimes damming the river itself. These flows, only a few 100,000 years old, remind us that the Earth's surface is still restless, still alive. At sunrise and sunset, the Grand Canyon becomes a painting of light, its walls glowing in shades of red, gold, violet, and cream. The colors come from minerals within the rock, iron giving reds and yellows, limestone softening into pale tones, and shadow deepening the contrasts. The canyon stretches for nearly 277 miles across northern Arizona, reaching more than 10 miles wide and over a mile deep. On clear days, you can see for over 90 miles. It even creates its own weather, thunderstorms in summer, fog in winter, and temperature shifts of more than 30 degrees between the rim and the river below. Sound behaves strangely here too, with echoes that seem to drift, fade, or return from unseen walls. For the indigenous peoples who have lived here for centuries, the Grand Canyon is more than a geological wonder, it is sacred ground. The Hopi see it as a place of origin. The Havasupai, whose name means people of the blue-green waters, still live deep within it. Ancient dwellings and petroglyphs carved into stone tell stories of ancestors and spirits, connecting past and present. The Grand Canyon stands as both a window into Earth's deep time and a mirror reflecting humanity's connection to the land. It reminds us that the planet is still changing, still alive, and still writing its story in stone. So, as you rest and let your thoughts drift, remember that beneath you, beneath us all, the Earth is quietly moving, shaping, eroding, and creating, just as it always has. In the 16th century, members of a Spanish expedition led by Garcia López de Cardenas became the first Europeans to lay eyes on the Grand Canyon. They were searching for the legendary 7 cities of gold, but instead of riches, they found an immense chasm that stretched farther and deeper than they could imagine. Awestruck by its vastness, they tried to climb down, only to realize that the descent was far greater than it appeared. Their journals spoke of wonder and frustration, of a landscape so enormous that it defied their sense of scale. Though their encounter marked the canyon's first appearance in written history, the land had already been home to indigenous peoples for thousands of years. For historians, their story shows how even experienced explorers could be humbled by nature's power. The Spanish returned with tales of awe rather than success, leaving behind the realization that some landscapes cannot be conquered, only respected. Centuries later, in the 19th century, American explorers pushing westward faced the same challenge. They too were astonished by the canyon's sheer cliffs and treacherous terrain. Many expeditions failed in their attempts to descend or cross it, forced into long detours to find safer routes. Some nearly perished along the way. To them, the Grand Canyon was not a destination but an obstacle, a vast, impassable barrier dividing the land. It symbolized the raw, untamed character of the American West. Only with time, improved maps, and better equipment did explorers and settlers begin to navigate it safely. What we now see as a place of beauty and recreation was once regarded as a wilderness to be approached with caution and humility. One of the most remarkable chapters in the canyon's history came with John Wesley Powell, a one-armed Civil War veteran turned explorer and geologist. In 1869, Powell led a daring expedition down the Colorado River through the uncharted Grand Canyon. Using wooden boats, he and his small team braved fierce rapids, unpredictable currents, and sheer canyon walls that offered no escape. The journey was perilous. Boats were destroyed, supplies ran low, and some men abandoned the mission, yet Powell pressed on. His courage and persistence produced the first detailed scientific descriptions of the canyon, transforming it from an unknown void on the map into a subject of national fascination. Powell's work revealed the canyon's geological complexity and its role in understanding Earth's history, securing his place as one of the great explorers of the American frontier. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the arrival of railroads opened the Grand Canyon to the wider world. Before this, reaching the rim required days of difficult travel through harsh desert terrain. With the Santa Fe Railway extending lines toward the canyon, access became far easier. Visitors could now arrive by train, drawn by curiosity and the promise of breathtaking views. Soon, hotels, trails, and viewing platforms were built, laying the foundation for modern tourism. What had once been a forbidding wilderness became a celebrated national attraction, a symbol of the American landscape's grandeur. The railroad didn't just bring people closer, it transformed how the world saw the canyon, from a remote and dangerous mystery into an accessible wonder of nature. In 1919, the Grand Canyon was officially declared a United States National Park, ensuring its protection for generations to come. The decision followed years of advocacy, including passionate support from President Theodore Roosevelt, who urged that this marvel remain unmarred for all who come after. The designation marked a turning point. The canyon was no longer a place of exploration or conquest, but of preservation and reverence. As a national park, it became both a sanctuary for nature and a monument to human awe. Its cliffs, rivers, and ecosystems were safeguarded from exploitation, allowing millions of visitors from around the world to stand at its edge and feel the same wonder those early explorers once felt. Today, the Grand Canyon stands not just as a geological masterpiece, but as a shared heritage, a place where science, history, and spirit converge. It reminds us that some landscapes are too vast to be owned. The Grand Canyon may appear eternal, yet its true age remains a mystery that continues to puzzle scientists. Some evidence suggests the modern canyon began taking shape around 6 million years ago, when the Colorado River first carved its present course. Other studies hint at a much older story, that portions of the canyon began forming as far back as 70 million years ago, when ancient rivers started cutting through the landscape. Using a technique called thermochronology, which measures how rocks cool as they rise toward the surface, researchers have uncovered conflicting clues, some pointing to deep, ancient valleys, others to far younger erosion. The most accepted view today is that the Grand Canyon did not form all at once, but in segments. Older valleys carved by ancient streams later joined and deepened by the Colorado River into the vast chasm we know today. This ongoing debate reminds us that even the world's most studied wonders still guard secrets. The Grand Canyon was not the result of a single cataclysmic event, but of countless geological processes unfolding over immense spans of time, a story still being written by the river, the wind, and the passage of ages. Because of its immense depth and rich geological record, the Grand Canyon also serves as a natural laboratory for studying climate change. Its stone layers preserve traces of ancient worlds, from desert dunes to shallow seas, offering scientists glimpses into how Earth's atmosphere and ecosystems have shifted over hundreds of millions of years. Even today, the canyon displays striking climate contrasts. Within a few miles, one can move from cool alpine forests at the rim to scorching desert near the river below. Researchers study these variations to understand how ecosystems respond to changes in temperature, altitude, and rainfall. Springs, caves, and sediments hold chemical clues about past droughts and rain cycles, allowing scientists to compare ancient climate shifts with modern ones, insights that may help us predict how Earth's environment could change in the future. Among the innovative tools scientists use to study the canyon is a technique that comes, quite literally, from outer space. High-energy cosmic rays constantly bombard Earth, colliding with exposed rock surfaces and producing rare isotopes that accumulate over time. By measuring these isotopes, researchers can determine how long a rock face has been exposed to the air, a method known as cosmogenic nuclide dating. This allows scientists to estimate when erosion stripped away overlying layers or when landslides and rockfalls occurred. It has provided remarkable insights into the timing of river incision and cliff formation, revealing the pace at which the canyon continues to evolve. Using particles from deep space, scientists are uncovering the earthly processes that carved one of our planet's greatest landscapes. The canyon's rocks also hold the fossilized story of life itself. In its oldest layers lie trilobites, ancient marine creatures that lived more than 500 million years ago when this region was covered by a shallow sea. Higher layers preserve fern impressions and plant fossils, evidence of the first greenery that spread across the land. In younger rock strata, footprints and bones of early reptiles record a time when life had adapted to deserts and floodplains. These fossils help scientists trace how life evolved through shifting climates and changing ecosystems. They also connect the canyon's rocks to others found across the globe, forming a timeline of Earth's living history. For visitors, the idea that these towering walls once hosted ancient seas and forests turns every glance into a journey through time. The Grand Canyon isn't just a monument to erosion, it's an active classroom, showing that the process continues even today. Landslides, flash floods, and rockfalls constantly reshape its cliffs and valleys. Scientists monitor these changes using sensors, river gauges, and satellite imagery to watch how sediment moves and how new features form. Because the Colorado River is now partially controlled by dams, researchers can even study how altering water flow influences erosion rates. The canyon scale makes it a perfect place to understand how landscapes evolve, how rivers carve through stone, how cliffs collapse, and how time sculpts the surface of the Earth. The Grand Canyon is not a relic frozen in time. It is a living system, a slow, magnificent experiment still unfolding, still teaching us how the planet shapes itself, one grain of sand, one drop of water, and one cosmic ray at a time. Hidden within the Grand Canyon's rock formations are rare mineral crystals that formed under extraordinary conditions. Groundwater carrying dissolved minerals slowly deposited quartz, calcite, and even unusual crystals such as wolframite and vanadinite within cracks and cavities. These formations, created over immense spans of time, produce tiny but dazzling treasures that stand in vivid contrast to the canyon's muted stone walls. Their colors, ranging from translucent whites to fiery reds and brilliant greens, reveal the chemical diversity of the canyon's history. Although collecting them is prohibited in the national park, scientists study these crystals to uncover how temperature, pressure, and mineral-rich water once interacted deep within the earth. Each crystal serves as a geological record, preserving traces of ancient processes and reminding us that beauty in the canyon exists not only in vast landscapes, but also in the smallest details of its hidden world. East of the Grand Canyon rise the Echo Cliffs, a striking formation known for creating haunting sound illusions. Shouts or calls in this region often bounce back as echoes that seem to come from unexpected directions, a phenomenon that indigenous peoples have long woven into their stories and traditions. Scientists attribute this acoustic effect to the cliff's shape, spacing, and angle, which reflect sound waves in unpredictable patterns. The Echo Cliffs remind us that landscapes are not only visual but also auditory experiences, where geology can sculpt sound just as powerfully as it shapes rivers and mountains. During summer monsoon storms, the Grand Canyon becomes a theater of lightning and thunder. Towering clouds unleash bursts of rain, wind, and electricity that illuminate the canyon's vastness in dazzling flashes. Strikes often hit the rims and cliffs, sparking rockfalls or igniting wildfires. While these storms can be dangerous, they are also vital for the ecosystem. Fires renew plant growth and rains replenish springs. Scientists study lightning patterns here to better understand how storms behave in rugged terrain, and visitors often stand in awe as thunder rolls for miles through the canyon's walls. These tempests showcase nature's raw power against one of the planet's most dramatic backdrops. In winter, the Grand Canyon transforms into a scene of contrasts. Snow blankets the high rims while the river below remains warm and free of ice. Visitors can experience winter and spring-like conditions within a single day, witnessing pine forests dusted with snow above and desert landscapes below. The sight of white snow against red cliffs creates a breathtaking fusion of alpine and desert imagery. For scientists, these seasonal contrasts reveal how microclimates operate within the canyon's vertical expanse, influencing ecosystems, vegetation, and wildlife. The melting snow feeds streams and springs, providing life-sustaining water to lower elevations and linking the canyon's diverse environments into one continuous system. Deep within the canyon, hidden springs flow quietly through the stone, some carrying water that has traveled underground for centuries or even millennia. Emerging from narrow cracks, these ancient waters create small oases filled with ferns, willows, and thriving wildlife. For indigenous communities, such springs have always been sacred, symbols of renewal and survival in a harsh landscape. Scientists study these flows to understand how groundwater moves through the canyon's intricate layers, revealing insights about ancient rainfall and climate. Though fragile and vulnerable to drought or upstream water use, these springs endure as living proof that even in the canyon's most arid reaches, life persists through the slow, patient work of time and stone.